Hey guys, Rush here with a new Minecraft video. Today what I have for you is not a tutorial, but a showcasing, and you will see why it is only a showcasing in a bit. But basically the main reason why is because I don't think this is very practical at the time in Minecraft. And you will see why when I go further on to the video. But anyway, I have a way for you to hide your chest items. Now I have two versions. I have this version here and the next version, which is what we will get onto after I show you this. But a brief explanation of how this works is that here we have a large chest, okay, with nothing in it. We can put things inside this large chest, but things get sucked away. Now, when we add an item, the correct item, which just happens to be a melon, you can see our valuables, such as our iron ingot here, will come pouring into our large chest, our hidden items. Now, let's just let this finish loading. And there you go. Okay, and there's the redstone that we hid in there. Now when I want to, I can take out things out of this large chest, I can put things back in, doesn't matter, but when I'm ready, I can just add in a melon. Here, I'll take out the gold ingot. When I'm ready, all I have to do is add in another melon, and then hear the pistons going, and then our items will get sucked back into the system slowly but surely. And then here we can also put in more things that we want to store, but this is the first version. Now let's get on to the second version of this. Okay, we are back here with the second version. Now the difference between that and this one is that if we look inside a chest, we can actually store items in it. We can take out blocks, we can put blocks in, but once we have our key item, input our key item, which just happens to be a melon. It will eat that melon, and then, as you can see here, our valuables will start pouring in, which happens to be diamonds. Now, another difference between this and that is that this can only store up to one item, which is diamonds. That can store up to 5. Now, the trade-off is that you cannot put in other items to make it look like a normal chest inside our first version here, but we can with this. But once again, we can take out diamonds, and when we're done, just add in more melons, and then our items will get sucked back into the system. And as you can see here, it will not take out any of these other items. It only takes out the diamonds. And there you go. Once it's done, then we just add in another melon, and then they will come pouring back out. But now let's get on to how these work. Okay, let's get started off with our first version of our item hider, or whatever you want to call it. This is the version where you cannot store things in the large chest, but this is all the blocks it was needed, or all the blocks that were used to make this whole thing, which is another reason why it's not very practical, because it takes a lot of it takes up a lot of space. But anyway, so let's start off with how I was able to get it so it will only trigger when we add in a melon. We use something called an item selector, and that's basically what this is right here. This is basically the key. Our melons right here, if we were to swap this out with all blocks of iron, then the key would be switched to a block of iron, and we would need to put in a block of iron into a large chest to be able to get everything to start operating. Time set day. Okay, so once it goes through our item selector here, we have a dispenser here that will spit out the melon, drop it on the track here, and then a pulse gets sent to these powered rails, which will cause our item hopper to come pick up the item on the track and drop it into one of these chests here, as you can see here. Now, behind these hoppers are comparators, and every time an item gets sent into this item hopper, it will send out a pulse due to the comparator right here, causing the piston to move. So as you can see here, as an example, you saw that now this melon is in this chest, and this piston moved. Now from here, we have pistons here that control the state of these hoppers, this hopper right here and this hopper right here. This hopper here first is where our items get stored in the first place, and because right now this piston is up because of the position of this T flip-flop-ish thing, it locks the item hopper right here with this redstone signal. By putting in a melon here, the hopper will come down, push this piston forward, causing this to go down, and then the items will get poured out. Now, at the same time, this block will also be hovering over this torch right here, and because of that, this piston will go up, locking this item hopper right here, making sure that none of the items will continuously loop around over and over again. So a quick example here. So put in the melon, gets dropped on the track, gets pushed down, that goes down. This is no longer locked, so it's able to pour out items. This is upward, locking our bottom hopper here, making sure that none of the items get sent out. Now, by pushing it again, instead of the hopper dropping the item here, it's going to drop it over here, causing this to go down, which allows this to start looping around, and it's going to also lock this item hopper here because the sand dune or this sand block will be upward, locking this and making sure that none of the items will be going back in here. So another example. There you go. This is now upward, so now the items cannot flow back into our chest. That's basically how this works. Now let's go on to our second one. This one is a little bit more complicated. As you can see, we have to add a whole new line row back here, but basically it works the same exact way. The only difference is we have a comparator right here that looks at how many items here. That needs to be at 25. This is going to look at how many items are inside the item hopper, okay? And once it gets to a certain number of items in here, then it's going to cause this piston to push basically this block here, locking our initial item hopper right here. Now, the problem with this, though, is that there must always be 25 diamonds here. You must always have 25 diamonds here, or else it will not work. And then here is basically our backup hopper in case that we take out too many diamonds. Then this is our backup hopper to make sure this reaches 25 diamonds. So, as you can see here, basically everything happens again. This starts pouring out into our large chest here. This is a little bit more difficult to explain, but essentially what's happening is once this gets to 23 items in here, it's gonna send out a signal strength of 2, causing this, as I once said, to go back down, locking this hopper and making sure that no other items get taken out of here. So once I add that back in, then our items will start getting pushed out, and we have all of this going on to make sure that items are safely getting put back in here. And right once this gets to like 23 items, this will push that down. This piston will push that block down, causing this to lock up and making sure that nothing else gets sent out. And then, yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of bugs, well, not bugs, but just things that I couldn't get past around. Like, you can only store so much in this, you can only take out so much, and then the way to increase the amount of items you can store here, you have to increase the signal strength here. You'd have to move it back. It's just really confusing and complicated, but if I explained everything, then this video would take forever. But anyway, that is basically what this is. Not sure if I'm gonna post up like a schematic of how it works, But what I want you guys to do is look at this and see if you can make something similar to this, but a lot more compact and more efficient. And then once you've done that, post a video response or send me a message so I can take a look at it. And yeah, so if this is something you guys are interested in it, then here I just gave you your next project to work on. So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and yeah. Oh, another thing is another reason why this isn't practical is because if you have blocks over here, right here, you can see, you can actually look through the bottom here to see the key, and you can look through the top and just see the items on top here. So yeah, that is why this is not practical. Okay, see you guys later. Bye.